Yo. Big Kish back up in here. I know. I said I wasn't going to be doing no reactions to no Hennessy, man. But this has to do with a downfall, y'all. And I'm all for that. Yeah, I'm all for that. A downfall. Yeah. We're going to see what Rapperholics is talking about. Y'all see that Kanye interview? I ain't see it. I skipped through it a little bit and here and there. I ain't, man, got time for that stuff, man. But I'll probably react to it. I don't know. I'm going to leave a link in the description. Shout out to Rapperholics. We're going to see what he's talking about in this one. The Akademiks era is over. That's what I like to hear. Y'all know I don't like holding y'all. Without further ado, let's get it.
All right, Lobbies and Gentlegrams. In today's episode of Akadidi in Drizzyland, we got to talk about the lobracity of the long-raging lard.
Akadidi strikes again.
Infused lobby-loving Looney Tune, the Big Mac of Snackademics, saying that the King Kung Fu Kenny killed hip-hop. Also clicking up with the Triple K, catastrophic, mustache man munching, maniac, Mr. Kanye West. A lot of hilarious Henny hijinks from the humongous hippopotamus of hip-hop, which I think poses a big problem within the future of Big Mac of Snackademics' career. Let's get into why both Akademiks and Kanye are jealous of Kendrick, everything that went down with this Akademiks and Kanye interview, and what this means for all the Big Macs and Henny bottles that Big Mac of Snackademics is about to chew. So, Lobbies and Gentlegrams, we're going to start with Akademiks, but you're going to see this problem stretches far beyond the bloated fanboy of the balding bearded BBL buffoon. But I think he's crafting this narrative because Akademiks is very aware that a shift is happening. It's not just within the music. It's not just within who's the top artist in the game.
He can't do that. He can't play the numbers game. You can't play the numbers game. Remember, that was always their thing. Numbers. Everybody, all his little minions get together in the chat and they talk about numbers. Remember, Drake had the numbers. He was always the numbers guy. But what you gonna talk about when your numbers guy ain't the numbers guy no more? The numbers ain't numbering. What you gonna do now?
A direct threat to his area of expertise as well, hip-hop media. Now you might be saying, who is this nobody who has a fraction of the amount of subscribers as Akademiks and can barely fit a fraction of the amount of Big Macs in his gullet as Big Mac of Snackademics can? And you're right, I have no authority to establish when a certain party is dying. I'll let Kendrick be the one to establish that. But right. Akademiks recently had a very interesting take on Kendrick, as well as very interesting sit-downs with Kanye West and another sit-down with the entire hip-hop S-Offender Avengers collective. Adam 22, Traplo Ross, Vlad, Wack 100. So I'm going to share my thoughts on all that, and you guys let me know if you're seeing this same pattern that I'm noticing here. So Big Mac of Snackademics said that he spoke to a couple of his rapper friends and all of them felt the same way, in that Kendrick is responsible for killing hip-hop. Now mind you, this is after he single-handedly revitalized the stagnant state of mainstream hip-hop that we had seen in most years throughout the early 2020s. Hip-hop,
It's the end of accepting the Soulja Boys. You remember when everybody was like, no, it's still here. After Nas said that it was dead. Nah, it's still here. And then they paid all the OGs to say, this is hip hop. This hip hop too. Yeah. And then they start trying to define it and all of that. We knew that shit was trash. We knew it. So they said they turned it around and said, no, this is hip hop. No, it's not. We just getting it back. Shout out to Kendrick Lamar, y'all.
I believe reached its peak in being the most consumed genre within the music industry in around 2018. And ever since then, it's been...
And we see what they turned it into. Told you, if you don't if you don't stand for nothing, you will fall for anything. We fell for the first beginning of it. Like, yeah, this is hip-hop too. Yeah, come on in, And we see what they turned it into. A bunch of ninjas collecting felonies out in the street. That's what they turned it into. Drill.
On a slow and steady decline, down and down each year, to where it reached its low in 2023. Yep. Ironically, we hadn't seen a single hip-hop song hit the #1 on the Billboard charts until the very end of 2023 with Drake and J. Cole's First Person Shooter. But all of that changed in 2024, large in part thanks to the beef, but just as much thanks to the entire GNX album and all of the hits produced off that project. Luther to this day is still #1 on the Billboard charts. It produced multiple top 5 hits, 2 #1 songs. It's still outselling Drake's album from last month in its 4th month on the charts. And it was the first time in a long time where not only did we start seeing, bar-focused music back at the top of the charts, but producing full cohesive albums that people can enjoy front to back was back at the forefront. There's a reason Kendrick didn't put Not Like Us on that album. There's a reason why he kept it at only 12 tracks. It was meant to be concise. It wasn't crazy, overcomplicated, or intensely deep like a Mr. Morale or a To Pimp a Butterfly. It was exactly what hip hop needed to feel alive again, to feel that spark, and for people to go back and actually sit down and unpack full complete albums, which again is not something that has happened within mainstream hip-hop in a long time. And that's not even to mention all the other massive moments Kendrick gave us, the pop-out concert, all the music videos that we sat down and dissected, the Grammy Awards, the Super Bowl. The last time I could remember big moments on that magnitude within hip-hop were probably all the way back to 2018 when Kanye did that 5-album run with Pusha T, Kid Cudi, Nas, etc. Or even Drake's album that year with Scorpion giving us a bunch of, #1 hits off that project and a bunch of #1 features. My point is we haven't felt a moment like GNX, we haven't felt a moment like Kendrick's 2024 in a long time within hip hop.
And they trying to hurry up and rush our moment through. Like they don't want it here. Like, hey, hurry up, it's over now. It's so no. Because when y'all had y'all moment of that fake hip hop, y'all call hip hop, which is the destruction of our people, y'all rocked out for so many years. No, we're gonna drag this. We're gonna drag this until whenever I say stop. We're going to drag this through 2025, 26, and 27, and 28. You know what I'm saying?
And simultaneously, he brought hip-hop back to the forefront of the mainstream, with hip-hop seeing a large increase within 2024 consumption versus 2023. And I promise this is going to lead back to Akademiks, but for my final point here, this was very important for the future of mainstream hip-hop, and Kendrick was very aware of that, emphasizing that he started the year 2024 off with Like That because he saw people putting hip-hop on the back burner, people putting a lack on the importance of competition. So he said, F all that, we got to bring this back to the essence of what it was. And that's a big threat for Akademiks, which I'll explain shortly, but it's also a big threat for a lot of the rappers that Akademiks is talking about here.
Bro, I talked to a few rappers, and obviously they're not woke rappers, they're not lyrical rappers. A bunch of them feel like Kendrick killed hip-hop, bro. I feel like, it's not even I feel, this is what they told me. Bro,
He just said they're not woke rappers. Meaning they don't have an awareness of what's going on. They don't know about themselves. All they know is that I'm going to sign this contract and I'm going to never get out the contract for the rest of my life. That's who these people are he talking about. This is wild.
Made hip-hop so lame where it's like, this is just over-analyzing it. Like, this is about to be like battle rap again. Like the whole genre is battle rap.
And really listen.
But it's okay when they overanalyze numbers, which ain't got nothing to do with hip hop. Hip hop was never a numbers thing. It was a everybody get together thing. Everybody, let's have fun together thing. They are separate. They separating it with all them numbers and all of that. Everybody, they just get on their high horse. I got me a contract. Yeah, you ain't got what I got. I got all these chains on. Hip hop never been about bragging about chains and what kind of watch you got on. That's never what it's never been about that. You remember when the Baby and them came out, Cash Money and all of them. That's all they talk about is they necklace and they watches and all of that stuff. What they said, and they got one of the biggest deals. Yeah, keep talking about that. Yeah, keep talking about how there's a separation between the rapper and the regular working day-to-day person. Make it look like you made it to the big house and they're still out in the field picking. Yeah, make it seem like that. Make a big separation. And what Willie Lynch say in the Willie Lynch letter, you separate them. Separate the light skin from the dark skin. Separate this from that from this, that. But hip-hop gonna bring us, true hip-hop in its essence is gonna bring us together and as one, right?
carefully to what he's saying here, right? Like, he emphasizes he's speaking to rappers, but it's not lyrical rappers. It's not, as he puts it, woke rappers, which I don't even know what he means by that. And he's saying, like, hip-hop is dead because Kendrick is trying to make the whole thing about battle raps, about lyrics, right? He's talking about how non-lyrical rappers feel threatened in this new environment. And that's what's crazy to me, is like, you're threatened because the bar's been raised. The standard has been heightened. The same old song and dance, no pun intended, the same old formulas are not going to work in an age where people are finally being fed something that's mentally stimulating. It's like if you're used to eating a gourmet meal every day, going and eating McDonald's, unless you're Big Mac Akademiks, you're going to feel sick from it. And we know the type of rappers that Akademiks is referencing here when he says these non-lyrical, non-woke rappers, right? Yeah. Akademiks, since the very beginning of his career, has been very calculated in pushing a lot of toxicity within hip-hop. And I'm not even talking, the war in Chirac and all that. I'm talking about the actual artists that he's propped up ever since he got his platform, right? So Akademiks' first big look was on Everyday Struggle. That's when a face was put to the name. Before that, he was just, making YouTube videos like I am right now, talking about the news, talking about what's going on. Everyday Struggle was when we actually saw Akademiks and when he formally became a hip-hop media personality. At the time, it was a debate show between him and Joe Budden, where Joe, being a retired rapper, was obviously more focused on dissecting lyrics, discussing, the titans that push the culture forward, discussing albums that at that time had just released that were really pushing creative boundaries or making a statement, albums like 444 by Jay-Z, Damn by Kendrick. Meanwhile, Snackademics was face of the youth. And with that, a lot of the topics on Everyday Struggle became diluted with artists and nonsense that Akademiks was an expert in. Artists like 6ix9ine, Lil Uzi, Lil Yachty, Migos. A lot of these artists aren't bad, but this was at a time when, streaming became the dominant form of music consumption. There was a massive shift within the type of artists that, hip-hop was pushing to the forefront with the whole SoundCloud era, the 2016 XXL freshman class, and Akademiks was their voice. He had the largest Instagram platform in all of hip-hop. He was like the new world star, where he would post any music that he wanted at the forefront of discussion, all the different beefs, especially the ones that 6ix9ine would engage in on Instagram. Akademiks was like the puppeteer behind that whole class of rappers. Same thing with No Jumper. And as Akademiks ascended into popularity, so did that style of hip-hop. And that was great for Akademiks, right? If he's friends with the Lil Yachty's, the 6ix9ines, the A Boogies with the hoodies, the Trippie Reds, he's able to capitalize off of not only posting about them, not only
he friends with people who have no say-so about their careers. So really, he just have a relationship with their handlers. Those people that he be with, I believe those are paid for relationships. And he just that's why one time he was like, I don't need to go to them. I could just go to the people above them. And those people above him look, we need you to go hang out with Act a little bit, okay? Go hang out with him. Like, they ain't got no say-so. They ain't got no say-so over what they do. And 6ix9ine told you, he was like, yo, it's a lot of rappers that's better than me. But I'm playing the game, meaning that he done signed his butt away. He signed it. Look, he signed his whole life away, boy. It's gone. Like, he can't make no decisions. Every time you turn around, he in a different house. These are these people houses. These don't be their houses. These are these people cars. And I don't care if his name is on it. He don't even own his name. He don't own his name. They said these people, these artists, some of these artists signed their life rights away. So if you see something with their name on it, they still don't own it. They don't own themselves. Yeah, telling you, this stuff go deep, man. They don't own their life, bro.
Talking about them, but also sitting down with them, promoting their music. That's money into his pocket, because not only is he getting paid by their labels to promote the music, but he simultaneously becomes this authority figure within the, SoundCloud mumble rap environment, and becomes the go-to guy for all the news, for all the exclusive info related to that niche. And as that niche grows in popularity, so does Akademiks' place within hip-hop media. But again, if you've been paying attention, that type of music is not making nearly the same impact that it was just a couple of years ago. We've seen a whole class of rappers come and go. Uzi went from selling 300,000 first week to selling 60,000. Polo G went from selling 150 to 30,000. Flavio Foreign and Lil TJ are more known in 2025 for beefing with streamers than they are for their.
Yeah, Flavio Foreign secretly locked up this whole time. That's the last time I heard of it. He's been secretly locked up. Yep.
Music. 6ix9ine is... Can someone tell me where 6ix9ine is? I don't even know. Trippie Redd, A Boogie with the Hoodie, Nav, The Baby, Lil Baby. It's looking scary for that whole class of rappers.
Yeah,
and if they haven't fallen off commercially, unfortunately, a lot of them ended up deceased or incarcerated. Look at Lil Durk, Pooh Shiesty, 42 Doug, Blueface. You know, rest in peace to Pop Smoke, XXX, Juice WRLD. A lot of like the biggest artists from that era that Akademiks was pushing and that he came up in the same time in, a lot of them are either gone or can't sell an album to save their lives. I mean, the numbers are even looking lower for Akademiks' Glizzy Gobbling Graham, Lobbery the Lullaby Lunatic. People are begging for a shift, and Kendrick was spearheading it. And Akademiks will downplay it or make excuses that, you know, Kendrick is turning hip-hop into a Me Too movement and is having some negative impact on the culture, which is stopping other artists from releasing their projects, even though Akademiks' most listened to songs from 2024 were Not Like Us and Euphoria. But he emphasizes that a lot of these artists that he speaks to, mainly street rappers or non-lyrical rappers, they feel like Kendrick has made it harder for their own music to get attention.
And I ain't gonna lie, most of the niggas who told me that, some of them are street niggas and some of them just make regular music. Like, they feel like it's harder to get attention doing what they did because Kendrick just turned it into a Me Too movement. You feel what I'm saying?
And maybe that's why we haven't seen a lot of major releases so far in 2025. Like, people are scared to drop music. People are scared to flop. And again, this has...
Hey, shout out to our cousin Monet. She made a video or something. I think the title read that Kendrick got rappers scared to drop music. That's a fact. Because they know the numbers ain't gonna number. The numbers is not gonna number. They ain't numbering. So the people, the handlers is like, I ain't about to invest in this. This is not no good investment. They looking at it from a business. That's what they get for being all about numbers. Being all about numbers. They ain't about knowledge and wisdom and trying to uplift the people. Now they ain't got the people on their side no more because the people want something different now.
Has a direct impact on Akademiks' spot within hip-hop media. But first, you have to understand the type of media personality that Akademiks is. Akademiks never made a name off of thought-provoking commentary. He never put an emphasis on delivering engaging content that was really actually focused on the music. It was always centered around the artist, but at its core, it was about the salacious, click-driving controversy that would simply bring more eyeballs to his brand. You saw this with his first entrance into the game, Warren Chirac. Without ever even showing his face, you knew him as the Warren Chirac guy. Then, around the time of Everyday Struggle, he was the only media personality to platform 6ix9ine, and really platform him to the highest degree, being the first one to post any of his antics, propping up all of his issues with other artists. Then, when 6ix9ine faded away, Akademiks became his own version of 6ix9ine, gaining more popularity than ever by downplaying and beefing with other rappers, Meek Mill, Lil Baby, Freddie Gibbs, etc. But all this time, the commentary was never on the music. It was always on the BS surrounding the music. And that's no different. And today, when Akademiks had possibly the biggest interview of his career with the artist who, unfortunately, in 2025 epitomizes antics over art, Mr. Kanye West. And in his current mental state, there was no one better for Kanye to sit down with in hip-hop than DJ Akademiks. You want to make fun of Jay-Z's children? You want to cause a bunch of drama related to Kendrick and Drake? You want to make the most outlandish headlines possible? There's no one better to platform you to do those things than DJ Akademiks. So of course, for an hour and a half today, that's exactly what they did. But before we get into that, Lobbies and Gentlegrams, I want to tell you guys about something that, unlike Drake, a bunch of you guys have been telling me you've been, Anita Max, winning some free cash from playing mobile games. So I want to put all you guys on to something that almost seems too good to be true. All right, let me give you a little glimpse. See on the screen.
Yeah, I scan that code if y'all interested in winning some money by playing games.
No matter what, Kanye West is the all-time greatest hip-hop artist in history. His words, not mine. Akademiks has also cited that the first video to get him any motion on YouTube was way back in 2013 when he posted a review of Kanye's Yeezus album saying that it was trash. You think 12 years later he finally gets to interview, to him, the greatest rapper of all time, if he's really such a big fan and finally gets this big moment where, you know, it's not Big Boy, it's not Sway, it's not Charlemagne interviewing Kanye, it's Akademiks who gets the opportunity. Obviously, as a fan, he's going to come with at least a couple questions related to the music, right? Especially since Kanye actually did just release an album a couple days before this interview even took place. And I mean, everyone makes the excuse about his terrible comments about the mustache man and all that to say, you know, he made graduation. I mean, the man made graduation. You're not going to ask him about that? No, instead, Akademiks took the hour that Kanye had right before he boarded a flight to Japan, an escape of all the people threatening his life over the heinous tweets that he made. That hour was spent talking about absolute nonsense, bashing the mother and grandmother of his children, for removing them from Kanye when he tried to put them on a song with Diddy or invite the Tate brothers to his house while his kids were there. He doubled down on his F Virgil tweet, saying that he posted it because he's evil. That was really his reasoning for saying F Virgil on Twitter, is because he's evil. He also crapped on Playboi Carti, saying he was jealous that Kendrick was on Carti's album, that Kendrick didn't belong on the album. He hates Not Like Us. He claims Kendrick was a puppet by Lucian Grange and UMG to try to take down Drake, even though Kanye West last year made a diss track himself to Drake, saying that they were all teaming up for the elimination of Drake, and stating that it was because Drake at that point was the puppet to Lucian Grange and UMG, specifically calling
Kanye is still chasing behind that whole impact of, y'all remember when he was versing 50 Cent? Like him and 50 Cent had battled each other. So this became his whole thing. Battle somebody and then he go for the win. This ain't back then though, Kanye. When you won against 50 Cent, you outsold him, cool. You supposed to lead that there. Now he's doing it like this has become him. He got to battle somebody and then he gonna win. Nah, Kanye West, he feel himself losing his footing as well. He's losing it.
Calling Lucian Grange the CEO of UMG Drake's rich baby daddy. But no, now he's blaming Kendrick destroying Drake on Lucian Grange. He did the entire interview dressed in, I don't even know if I could say this on YouTube. Basically, what's the first letter of Kanye's name? K? Times that by 3. Kanye Kim Kardashian. K, you know the rest. Akademiks stood there looking Kanye in the eye as he's wearing this costume, as he's saying F Virgil, he's evil, he's the closest thing to God on earth. I can't play clips of this interview, but even Akademiks' security guard looked.
Oh, he said that during the interview? I ain't watching. I just skimmed through it to see. I see that Hennessy man, he wanted to sit down. Ye had him standing up the whole time. He thought he about to sit down comfortable on the couch. No. We about to stand up. We about to do some weird stuff.
At that costume in absolute disgust. He had an iced out symbol of the mustache man as his chain. He said that just like Diddy, everyone abuses their significant other. He was saying that Ty Dolla $ign, the artist who stood by Ye throughout all of his anti-Semitic rants, made 2 albums with him that helped him get out of cancellation. He's saying that they no longer get along because Ty Dolla $ign posted on Instagram saying he condones any form of hate speech. Kanye took that as a personal insult to his own character because, again, he is evil. And one question that Akademiks does ask him is, you know, Kanye's always making these grand, almost conspiracies, or really they are full-on conspiracies, that there's this whole larger entity that's in control of everything, that's, you know, puppeteering all these other artists, all these other fashion designers, any industry that Kanye's in. He believes that there's some grand manipulation tactic going on, and that's what's stopping him from fully thriving. That's what's causing him to constantly get canceled. So Akademiks asks him, like, you know, being this powerful billionaire that you are, being exposed to the curtain peeled back on the industry, on the quote-unquote, you know, evil, manipulative, wicked puppeteering that's going on behind the scenes, Kanye must know something that the audience doesn't, right? So while we're over here trying to connect the dots and make sense of his insane tweets, Akademiks is right in front of the man himself. So he's asking him, like, can you go into detail and explain what is actually going on behind the scenes here? What is this manipulation that you constantly speak of? And Kanye goes on this whole tangent saying that, you know, what he does is not calculated. He leans into how he feels and he just speaks his truth. So, you know, his daughter going on a song with Diddy, or him dressing up in this triangular head costume, or him even sitting down with Akademiks on that day.
Man, I was lost when his album Bully, the visuals for that, they said that was his son in a wrestling ring with all of them grown men, with all that oiled up. That show you that his mind is not right. His mind ain't right. Something's going on up in that head, up in that dome piece.
Day, it wasn't calculated. It all just kind of naturally happens. And whatever the consequence that comes with it, simply comes with it. But people are so scared of speaking their truth, so Kanye is kind of like the voice for the voiceless. And this is similar to Akademiks, right? Because Akademiks prides himself on being one of the first independent hip-hop platforms of the internet age. And because of that, he's kind of uncancelable, right? Like, he used to work for Complex at Everyday Struggle, so when he went on a crazy rant against John Legend's wife, they suspended him from the show for a couple of days. But now, he could say whatever disrespectful comments he wants. No one's there to suspend him. No one's there to cancel him. You could stop listening to him, but he still has a platform. It's the same thing with Kanye. What neither of them realize is that they think they gain power by talking crazy. They're really just propping up a bigger clown show and snowballing a bigger downfall that is inevitably destined to happen. I mean, even in Kanye's response, before Akademiks could get to the next question, he goes from talking about how he's just living and speaking his truth, not really caring about the repercussions, just kind of living in the moment, to spiraling and then starting to talk about how Iggy Azalea would hide her kids from Kris Jenner and how upset he was that Kim was flirting with the idea of Northwest collaborating with Playboi Carti. All these rants, all this evil, it's just fueled by jealousy, it's fueled by hatred, it's fueled by delusion, ego, whatever you want to call it. And of course, the music takes a backseat to all of it. And then we do finally get to somewhat music-related topics where Akademiks asked Kanye.
Y'all see that? He said the music always take a back seat to that. That's the same thing with Vultures United. Y'all seen the Vultures? They don't talk about no music. They don't talk about no music at all. It's just violence. They just want to talk about violence. They ain't getting nothing good out of the violence, nothing good out of the street talk. They don't want to talk about no music. But they say that's the hip hop. They say that's hip hop media.
Like, you know, a lot of people seeing you crash out on Twitter over Kendrick being on Carti's album, over him doing the Super Bowl, the Grammy Awards, and they look at that as jealousy, right? Like, you've always wanted to be the number one guy. There was a Drink Champs interview from 3 years ago where Kanye said that he stopped making religious music and went back to making, you know, music with explicit messaging within it because he felt like his spot was taken from him. He felt like Drake had all the hits, A$AP Rocky had the fashion, Travis was, you know, experimenting the best, Kendrick had the bars. So what did Kanye have? He wasn't in that number one spot anymore. So he compromised his religious values to try to reclaim that number one position, and he didn't get that. Obviously, we saw he released Donda and Drake released CLB the same week. Drake outsold him. And then we saw Kanye relentlessly beef with Drake, thinking that that was the means to the end of him reclaiming the throne. Now we're seeing him try to beef with Kendrick because he doesn't like how Kendrick, as Kanye put it, killed his nemesis. He wanted to be the one destroying Drake. He didn't want that to be Kendrick. So again, Akademiks...
That's jealousy. Jealous.
Asked him, like, a lot of people seeing you crap on Kendrick's big moment, claiming or chalking it up to that being jealousy. And Kanye says, of course he's jealous. And he claims that God is a jealous God and he's the closest thing to God on earth. And he acts just how God acts. So you can see here, the man went from, you know, praising God, fearing God, to now constantly comparing himself to God. He had an interview way back when he released Vultures.
No. It does. The scriptures does say God is a jealous God, but not in the way that Kanye West is jealous. Kanye West is a Cain and Abel jealous. He's like Cain. That type of jealous. When God says he's a jealous God, he's jealous over his people trying to be like the other nations of people. That's what God meant when he said he's a jealous God. Because his people, he made his people specific to do certain things for him. And God got his certain people, right? But his people wanted to go and be like everybody else, which made God jealous. But he still loved his people. Kanye hate his own brothers. God said, don't do that. Don't hate your own people. Kanye hate his own people. He's jealous of his own people. It sound like I'm saying the same thing, but I'm not. God said, don't hate your brother in your heart. If you hate your brother, that means you hate God. Kanye don't like whoever's on top, like whoever is overshadowing his fame, his billionaire status. Don't nobody care about that billionaire status. You gonna give me a loan? Let me hold $100. Yeah, thought so. Don't nobody care about that. But soon as it seemed like somebody's overshadowing Kanye West's status, he comes out and say something negative about him. So he's jealous. He's really jealous. Like hatred jealous. You know what I'm saying? And what was the last commandment? Think 10 is thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's yard, thy neighbor's wife. Don't covet what your neighbor has. Don't be covetous. And don't let that fall into sin. Kanye West is covetous of status. He's covetous. If he sees somebody with some status or something like that, he's going to come out. Oh, no, I don't want them to. That's the type of jealousy he got. God got a different jealousy. Oh, when they say that. He got a different jealousy. Oh, so God like that. I done took care of y'all. I gave y'all the best everything. And y'all want to sit up there and be like all them other people outside the garden and whatnot. But yeah, he took that scripture way out of Nah, he out, yeah. Ah, man. This dude is wild, man.
There's one
Wow.
saying that he kind of gave up the whole Jesus is King theme because when he went on his anti-Semitic rants and everybody canceled him and stepped away from him, Jesus wasn't there to save him, I guess. But you can also see here, right? Kanye got canceled, lost everything, then regained everything, became a billionaire once again out of cancellation, and is now doing everything he could to destroy everything he's already built. His relationship with his family, his children, his wealth, his sponsorships, his peers in the rap industry, in the fashion industry. What does Kanye have left besides Big Macus and Akademiks and his mushed ass man Chain? I mean, this is a live action interview, so you can literally see Kanye West packing up his luggage, everything he has, to go board a flight to Japan to go hide out because of all the atrocious comments he's made. All he had on him, his entire belonging, was a portable beat maker, a White Lives Matter t-shirt, which he gifted to Big Macus and Akademiks, a Sean Combs Diddy t-shirt, and his 2 costumes that I can't say the name of. Again, this is the man who gave us graduations, so I'll keep breaking down this interview, but it ties back into the bigger theme of this Akademiks era of ego and controversy and crashing out and antics over art, not only leaving these people isolated, losing everything, but threatened by the movement that Kendrick Lamar brings with the value placed back on artistry. But now, speaking of Kendrick, Kanye says that Drake is 100 times the artist that Kendrick Lamar will ever be. Same thing with Future and Young Thug as well in terms.
Man, he's just talking out his, you know what, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Y'all please go tap in with Rapaholics. He about to cook some more and some more and some more. You know what I mean? Y'all know how he give it up. I'm going to leave a link in the description. Y'all let me know what y'all think about Kanye West and his antics, man. Is he doing this just to keep himself afloat? Just to keep himself relevant? Y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Big Kish signing out. I'm going, y'all.